Meredith Gorman here, and are you still not subscribed to Matt's channel? Well, if you're not, hit the subscribe button because he's giving out free picks each and every week. Hope you have a good rest of your day.
UFC 328, Strickland versus Chimaev from New Jersey. Love this main event. I've been waiting for this main event for a while now. It is here. We got a fairly deep card as well. Excited to break this main card down, provide free picks, leans, price talk, fades, value, and more. Link.me/system capping for client opportunities. Got resume over there, got records, got articles, everything myself and the system. Currently handicapping the UFC and PGA weekly. NHL, NBA, very low volume throughout the playoffs. And we got the World Cup. World Cup is, a month away, roughly? Looking forward to that. We will have a preview podcast out, or probably early June. A lot of success in international soccer over the years. UFC Perth Recap. Before I go over the recap, like this video, guys. It helps out a ton if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please review, share with a friend. It helps out a ton. UFC Perth Recap, a down card last week. Not a great card for myself. I was on Jack Della Maddalena, didn't show up. Bad pick from my side. Rare one that you see where the other guy just dominates him. Sometimes you can get lucky with like a big shot, right? The guy gets caught. Here he just kind of got dominated on the feet. Hats off to Cortes. His best performance by far. Excellent leg kicks. I thought he used the leg kicks well. Obviously used the speed and his left hand impressively. Just able to hurt Jack multiple times on the feet. And if you saw it round one, after round one, I was actually fairly confident in the bet. He was able to get Cortes down, maybe stole round one. But then he decided to just stand and bang too much. I mentioned last week in the podcast, if Jack just decides to stand and bang, make it a kickboxing fight and not make it an MMA fight, he's probably going to lose the fight. Fortunately, that's what happened, even though I still was on the Jack side. Cortes, hats off to him, right? What's next for him? Maybe a title shot. He's right there. He's right there. Or maybe a rematch with Ian Gary. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But, hats off to Cortes. Best performance we have seen out of him. Sulkid, big time finish. That's what we expected. By finish was the play on him. Only way you can really look due to Dariush's, chin issues. He struggled, tried to get the fight down on the ground, but Sulkid showed his well-roundedness. I think he's a player in this division, guys. He'll be ranked now. Like what I saw from him. He was able to control the wrestling, be able to keep the fight standing, and then obviously hurt Dariush. Dariush just terrible chin. I think he needs to retire. Anytime he gets hit flush, he's going to the ground. So Dariush, maybe get into like RFA or something. Go wrestle. I don't think UFC is for him anymore. And Tuivasa. The guy that ruined the card for me, right? Even though I had a smaller unit on Jack. I wasn't a full unit. I had Sulkid. But then Tuivasa had him in a 2-fight parlay. The setup's perfect. Like UFC was setting him up for a win and he couldn't get it done. The English heavyweight, listen guys, he was 0-2 in the UFC, both by first round knockouts. And he just let him lay on him for pretty much 3 rounds, control the fight there. Won an ugly one, but hey, it's MMA. So, tough, right? Just a tough loss for Tuivasa. He needs to hang it up. I thought he would retire in the ring, in the cage. Sorry, he didn't. I think he should. 7 straight losses, guys. The UFC set him up for a win, and he couldn't even get it. So, just terrible loss by Tuivasa. and ruined the card last week. Let's get back on track this week, guys, like we normally do when we have a down week. UFC White House. Did you guys see it? Did you guys see the videos and the photos in front of the White House? Co-main and main event were there, talking to Trump, taking photos, talking to the reporters. It was interesting to see. They're really making this a big deal, right? The fight's not for another month and a half, right? So interesting to see that they did that. That belt, I don't know if you guys saw that belt. That's cool. I still don't know what it's for. I still don't know, is that for the, I do believe best performance win $1 million. I could be wrong about that. Maybe they get that belt as well. Who is that belt for? Because there's multiple title fights, right? Interesting to see what happens with that belt. Let's get into this card, guys. So let's get into this card. Pay-per-view from New Jersey. Chimaev minus 570. Yikes. It's climbing, guys. Versus Strickland plus 425. Fight I wanted to see for a few years now. It's finally happening. Lots of money coming on Chimaev, guys. This line opened up around minus 300, minus 325 opening line. Lots of money coming in on Chimaev for good reason. I do have a few rules when betting UFC. I think if you have been listening to me for quite some time, you're going to know it, right? The one main rule is never bet against, now it's 3 guys. I used to have 2. Now it's 3. Islam Makhachev. Why am I not pronouncing that right? Islam Makhachev. Never bet against him. It's been working out really well for me, guys. Ilya Topuria. Never bet against the guy. It's been working out really good for me. And I recently added Chimaev to that list. Just the last year. Those 3 guys, I just do not bet against, no matter who the opponent is. And then I try to fit it in. Right? Sometimes they're very overvalued, like you see here in Chimaev at minus 575. I actually think it's overvalued at that price now. I think it's definitely inflated. So it can be difficult to bet if you can't find an outcome, right? Even if you fit it into a 2-fight parlay, you might have to change it to a 3-fight parlay to get plus money, right? So these 3 guys now I never bet against. Doesn't mean I always bet on them, because it can be difficult at times to fit them, on your betting card. But these 3 guys never bet against. Chimaev has just recently been added to that. Lots of shit talking between these 2. Apparently no face-off, which sucks. I wanted to see this face-off. I wanted to see 20 security guards. It would have sold the fight so much more. Why not do it? Just have more security. They're not going to really fight on the stage. Very low odds, right, that happens. And just have them separated by like 10 feet or something. I don't understand why they don't do it. Hopefully they're at least at the press conference. They should be. Time will tell. Clear path, right? There is a clear path for Chimaev. Let's get into the breakdown here now. It's obviously, there's no secret around this, right? Even if you're a casual, you're listening to this right now. Chimaev, wrestle, chain wrestle, get this fight down at the ground, maybe find a submission at some point. You can say Sean does have good takedown defense, because he does. It's in the mid-70s, but it's more as of late. Now, I do got to stress, we've seen DDP take him down 6 times in that fight, guys. So he can be taken down. The tough thing is to keep him down. That's a tough thing with Sean. You could get him down, but to keep him down there and just lay on him, you don't see that often. Even when DDP got him down, he wasn't holding him down for long periods of time. So that's going to be interesting here. Can Chimaev keep him down there? And if he's keeping him down there, can he work into submissions? Can he get some ground and pound? And can he hold them there for multiple minutes? That's the big question here. Very difficult to predict that. We've seen Chimaev have success with every guy so far. And this is a different beast that Strickland's facing, and guys, like DDP and wrestling. You saw what Chimaev did to DDP, right? And DDP beat Strickland twice. So just keep that in mind. Sean's only path to win this fight, in my opinion, keep the fight standing, throw more volume, and win by decision. Possible late finish. Possible. It's just tough to see, but there is a slighter possibility that he wins in round 4 or 5. And the only reason that could happen is because Chimaev wrestled, worked those arms, used those arms a ton, tried to get submissions, couldn't get in, gasses out. There's a possibility, but we have seen Chimaev pass the test with DDP and going 5 rounds. So I'm not as concerned as I maybe was like a year or two ago when we haven't seen him go the distance. We have seen him go the distance. Chimaev can win this fight multiple ways, right? By decision, by finish, by submission. When you look out there, you see submission like minus 105. It's just, we haven't seen Strickland ever submitted. Seen him finished a few times by TKO KO. Never by submission. So when you're starting to see, I see Chimaev out there like plus 320 by decision, guys. That is so tempting. I can change a minus 575 into a plus 320 on an outcome. Now, of course the submission and finish is live, guys. I'm not saying it's not. It's just, we just seen him go 5 rounds with DDP. Strickland's very difficult to finish, very durable. So keep that in mind. That price at plus 320 by decision, wow. I'm going to tell you right now, I will have a play on that this week. Smaller unit, sure. I may still fit the money line on Chimaev because I have it around maybe 50-50 the outcome by finish or decision. I'm leaning a little more decision, though, and that price just has me tempted to back. So that's the way I'll be looking here. Obviously, Chimaev to win the fight, minus 575. Maybe I can fight into a 3-fight parlay, maybe 2 if I can find a very low odds favorite that I like. But yeah, 320 decision, sign me up. Again, we could see a finish here, but Chimaev should win this fight. I would be surprised if Strickland wins. Even on the feet, Chimaev has power to hurt Strickland. We saw some recent fight. I'm not going to take it too much because they were kind of just sparring. Chimaev did release some footage, and he was winning on the feet. But again, they were just sparring. I don't know how serious to take that. But Chimaev can stand with Strickland. It's just, if it's 5 rounds only standing, Strickland could easily win the fight due to the volume and that jab. But it's not going to be. Chimaev's going to go for a takedown, and most likely a takedown early. So Strickland's path, keep it standing, outbox him, win by volume. Possible, just have it at low odds. I think if these guys fought 10 times, Chimaev most likely wins 9 of them. So that's the way I could only look here would be Chimaev, get creative, look for value with the decision. That's the way we'll look here. Co-main, Van, plus 145 versus Taira, minus 175. Again, some value popping out on Van at plus 145, only way I can look. When I did my own line for this, I had Taira's, like, I had it pretty much even, like 110 around, right? Not often do you see the challenger being the favorite. It happens, but not often. I kind of get why. Actually, I don't really get. I have this again, guys, at even. Now, Taira, better grappler, better wrestler, but Van has very good takedown defense at over 80%. Taira will have a 5-inch reach advantage here, but it's not going to be used because Van's the better striker. Taira does not want this on the feet, especially for long periods of time. Van has a lot more volume, over 8 significant strikes per minute. Where Taira's under 3. He has a right hand, powerful right hand, but Van, very durable. If Taira wins this fight, I do believe, of course, he could win by decision, but it has to do to his grappling was mixed in, his wrestling was mixed in. It's not because he stood with Van for 5 rounds and outpointed him on the feet. Not going to happen. Taira has improved his striking. I do agree with that. but Van wins a kickboxing fight. So the question is, can Taira have success with the grappling and have success taking down Van? And I can see Van keeping it on the feet. I could see Van keeping it on the feet. Both guys, this is actually their toughest test. Obviously, Van faced Pantoja, but that ended early, right? So let's not even really look at that. I believe Pantoja probably wins that fight if he doesn't get hurt. But here we are. You never want to win the championship this way, right? Van won the championship due to Pantoja getting hurt. That kind of sucks. So you want to come out and prove that you are the rightful champion. So all this, guys, I do believe there's value here at plus 145. Of course, Taira can win this fight. It's a flyweight fight. I think Taira looks really good. Speed, like the grappling's very good. I think the submission is live for Taira if he can get the fight down there. That's the big question. Can he get it there? And he's also fighting for the first Japanese champion ever in the UFC. Could that be? You could look at that multiple ways. It could be a lot of pressure on him, and it doesn't, work out for him, or, it could just help him win this fight. It's 5 rounds. I see an over 3.5. I like the over 2.5 a little better if you want to pay, but there's over 3.5 at even money. I think this fight goes deep. Because how does this fight end? The most, I would say, favorable finish would be submission by Taira. That's what I see here. And that could happen, any round, technically, if he's able to have success with the grappling. But like a knockout finish, I don't see that. So I like the over in rounds. It's probably going to make my client card. Aside, if I do bet it, it would be a very small unit on Van due to the price. But I have this fight 50-50, guys. So when I have a fight 50-50 on a side, I try to get creative and look around and shop around. And that's what I did with the over in the rounds. Right? 50-50 style fight. Even if you say Taira a little bit of a favorite, is he worth a minus 175 favorite? I don't believe so. So Van value plus 145. Play the over. This should at least go a few rounds unless you get, unlucky with either a KO or TKO is just hard to see between these two, but there could be a submission. It's possible. Exciting fight. Exciting to see how Van defends for the first time. Volkov minus 170 versus Acosta plus 140. Another tempting underdog here, guys, with Acosta. A step up in competition for Acosta, sure. He did beat Lewis last time out, but Lewis, towards the end of his career, Lewis has beat Volkov a long time ago. But Volkov, is a vet, biggest guy that Acosta will face. So you got to understand, how is he going to adapt to that reach advantage? 80-inch reach for Volkov. Only a 2-3-inch reach, though. So it's not going to be that drastic for him. Acosta could be the quicker striker in this fight. I think that's where he could win this fight. I think his boxing maybe a little better. Obviously, Volkov's more of a kickboxer. He uses his kicks a lot. It would be interesting to see how much he can use that. But will it be Volkov's time to try to just wrestle? Right? Get Acosta down and wrestle him. We know what Acosta could do. He has heavy hands. He can box. He's an ex-boxer, guys. Volkov, wrestle. Try to get the fight down to the ground. At 38, 39 now, is he going to try to wrestle for 3 rounds? I don't believe so. I think he'll probably gas out if he does. So if it just stays fight on the feet, and this was a kickboxing fight, give me Acosta plus 140, guys. Definitely value there. Definitely lean the over 2.5 rounds as well. Tough to see a stoppage in this fight, right? We don't see Volkov really get knocked out. Just the Derek Lewis fight a long time ago, right? That's the last time I can remember. And then Costa, no, he hasn't. So over 2.5 rounds, that's the way to look. Lots of free plays I'm giving out to you here, guys. Hopefully you have been listening and tailing. Some of these are client plays as well. Acosta plus 140 value. Will it be a client play? No. But that's the way I would look for podcast purposes due to pricing. Fun fight, though. Winner not too far from a title shot. Sean Brady, minus 170 versus Buckley, plus 140. I like this fight. One of my favorite fights on this card. And it's more, how does it play out? How does Brady bounce back? How does Buckley bounce back? Can Brady's wrestling and grappling work against Buckley? That's what it is. Right? We've seen both guys try to step up in competition and fail. That's why it's a great matchup. Buckley versus Usman. Usman just laid on him, out-wrestled him, won the fight. Brady, when he steps up in competition below Muhammad, lost. And now Morales, who Morales may be the best guy in this division, was able to hurt Brady. Brady, not a good chin. We've learned that time and time again now. Brady does not have a chin, guys. His striking is poor. He's a one attribute guy. One stat guy, grapple, wrestle. Let's get this fight down to the ground and wrestle. Hold top control, maybe find a submission. Buckley's takedown defense, guys, 72%. It's not bad. Now, if you watch the Usman fight, it looked bad. But that's Usman, probably the best wrestler, pure wrestler in this division. So, obviously, Brady knows, we know the game plan. We know what's going to happen here. Now, Brady struggled to get Morales down to the ground. Didn't try against Bilal, if I recall. I think he just tried to stand with him, which is a bad idea. If Buckley has this fight for long periods of time on the feet, Brady could go night-night. We know Buckley's power. So you're backing Brady. If you have a ticket on Sean Brady, you're hoping he gets the fight down to the ground, able to control him on the ground, maybe find a submission or maybe just control him on the ground for a decision win. If this fight's standing for long periods of time, you're going to have your eyes closed with a Brady ticket. So again, Buckley plus 140, guys. I see a lot of value on this main card. Doesn't mean it's all going to come through. At least one or two of these plus money value plays are going to come through. So is Sean Brady worth a minus 170 after we know his striking's poor? We know he doesn't have a chin. But he's a really good wrestler and grappler, but he's not really known for getting fights down to the ground. He's not like a big-time takedown artist. If he gets it there, he's obviously heavy on top. But again, you're backing on hopefully he takes down Buckley. Hopefully he controls him there, and maybe he finds a submission. There's a lot of hope. We don't know that he's going to take down Buckley. I do believe he should get it down there at some point. Buckley's going to be throwing knees. He's going to be throwing spinning kicks when Brady tries to get this fight down to the ground. So keep that in mind. He can get caught there as well. Will Sean Brady be able to get the fight down to the ground? That's what your handicap is all focused around here. Tough to call an outcome as well. Like, I like playing over in rounds or under in rounds. It's tough here. Buckley could catch Brady early. It ends quick. Brady has success taking down Buckley. He submits him. Or Brady just lays on Buckley for 3 rounds. Multiple ways this fight can go on an outcome. I won't be getting creative with an outcome here. Maybe creative. If I do, it would be a smaller unit. Right now, I don't have a play on this. It's more of I like to watch and see how it goes. Lean, very slight lean on Sean Brady because he had success to get the fight down to the ground. We've seen Usman have a ton of success. I'm sure Brady's watching a lot of that tape, how he got Buckley down to the ground, how he's able to hold them down to the ground. Buckley's takedown defense, 72%. Not great, not bad either. But over the years, it hasn't been great. He has improved it. But when you fight a guy like Usman, you saw what happened. So let's say Brady uses that game plan. This is a podcast play only. I'm not going to be betting it. Let's say Brady uses that game plan. He has success. He either finds a submission or he has success just keeping him there. That will be the lean, we'll call it, on Brady. Last one here, guys. Last one. Bobby Green. Minus 340 versus Stevens plus 270. I never thought I would see the day again Bobby Green would be this big of a favorite. You like betting Bobby Green maybe for smaller unit if he's an underdog. Example against Zellhuber. He was a big underdog. He pulled that off last time out against the young prospect. I wouldn't call him a prospect anymore, but Zellhuber, younger fighter. Green still got it. Crafty in there, tough to hit. Steven's not going to be taking him down. It's going to be pretty much on the feet. And Green wins battles on the feet. Uses a jab, good boxer, hard to hit, creative, fairly durable. Right? Stevens, what does he have, like 23 losses, guys? He lost 2 in a row, one of them outside of the UFC. What does he really have left, guys? Now, am I excited to bet Green at minus 340? No, it's going to be very difficult. Very difficult actually to call an outcome. I would actually lean a decision. You can get a plus 115 out there. Stevens tough to, very durable. His fights as of late have been going decision for the most part. Mason Jones, he brought the decision, so that's pretty impressive. So yeah, Green plus 115, a lot better than minus 340. And again, when you're looking at, that's what I do best. I'm great at finding outcomes when there's big favorites, right? Paying 340, paying minus 570 on Chimaev. It's no value. You just can't bet those numbers if you want to win long term. You got to be able to find outcomes at plus money. That's what I'm able to do long term, guys. That will do it. That will do it. This is a fun card. Fun card, especially the main event. I talked about the Brady, Buckley. Very intrigued. Some good fights on the prelims as well. I'll have a couple plays for clients, I'm sure, in the prelims. But yeah, this Brady, Buckley fight, wow. Excited for that. Excited for a couple other fights as well. For most of his main card, actually. I wouldn't say I'm excited for the Bobby Green fight, but the other 4, very intrigued. Like I always say, guys, bet smart and know your limits. Enjoy this card.